Good morning, everyone. This is the September 17th, 2025 meeting of the Albany Regional Board of Review. This hearing is being held via video conference call WebEx at the following location: New York State Department of State, 1 Commerce Plaza, 99 Washington Avenue, room 505, Albany, New York, 12231. The time is now 9:14 and the hearing is officially open. The members of the board are Laura Ryder, Jackie Coons, and attending remotely is Mark Kavanaugh, Jeffrey Hindeleiter. My name is Andy Ellis, Chairman. From the Department of State, Jalfakar Ali and Tom DiTullo. We will now hear the scheduled petitions. When you speak, please address the board and give your name, title, and legal address so that our court reporter can have all the information requested. We may have to stop from time to time and consult with our technical staff. In making comments to the board, please provide a descriptive narrative on matters referring to your exhibits to enable the court reporter to enter these into the record. We have 2 hearings today. Our first hearing is petition number 2025-0607. This hearing is in the matter of Deerfoot Lodge Camps PPC. Nature of the grievance and relief sought. This petition pertains to rebuilding or extensively renovate of an existing dining hall of the Deerfoot Lodge Adirondacks located at 134 Deerfoot Lodge Road, Speculator, New York, 12164, Town of Lake Pleasant, County of Hamilton, State of New York. The proposed building is 1 story in height, occupancy group A2, type 5B wood frame unprotected construction, and is approximately 7,785 square feet. The petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1221, 2020 Building Code of New York State, Section F, 903.2.1.2, Group A2 states F 903.2.1.2, Group A2, an automatic sprinkler system shall be provided throughout stories containing Group A2 occupancy and throughout all stories from the Group A2 occupancy to and including levels of exit discharge serving that occupancy where one of the following conditions exist. Number 1, the fire area exceeds 5,000 square feet. Number 2, the fire area has an occupant load of 100 or more. Number 3, the fire area is located on a floor other than a level of exit discharge serving such occupancy. The petitioner requests relief from condition number 2, section F 903.2.1.2, Group A2 of the 2020 Building Code of New York State, and request to increase the fire area occupant load from 100 to 300. At this point, the petitioner may state their case and any relevant information that you'd like the board to hear.
Okay, do you need my name again?
Yeah, please. Yep.
Yeah, my name is Craig Borino. I'm the site director of Deerfoot Lodge Adirondacks, representing Deerfoot Lodge LLC at this hearing.
Your legal address too.
Yeah, 134 Deerfoot Lodge Road, Speculator, New York, 12164. The substance of our case, as you mentioned, pertains to item 2 under F 903.2.1.2, Group A-2, which states the fire area has an occupant load of 100 or more. The uniqueness of our situation is that we do require a dining hall serving more than 100 campers and staff, but our camp is a wilderness camp. It is off-grid, and as such, it has no access to the power grid. We're generator operated. We have no access to city water. So access to both of those things to operate a sprinkler system, the necessary pumps, water storage, all that goes along with it, would be exceptionally difficult for us, essentially creating an unnecessary hardship. Also relevant, the buildings are winterized for several months of the year, about 3/4 of the year. The generators are not running, the buildings are winterized, and while they're monitored by staff, are not in use, and therefore the sprinkler system wouldn't have the requisite power to operate the rest of the year, making an alternate solution more practicable. The solution we're proposing is a large number of methods of egress. Essentially, that's our case. We were asking that this variance allow us to have an occupant load of 300 more, as in groups A1, A3, basically I think every group but A2 is able to have an occupant load of 300. 300 or less.
Thank you. I'd like to open it up to the board for questions.
Yeah, you stated that the facility, when it's not in operation, is monitored by staff. Is that year-round monitored by staff?
Yes, sir.
It's so staff resides at the facility year-round.
No, sir. Our maintenance director, facility director, who's on the call, Ken Hoffman, lives off-site, but is on-site checking on the property 4 to 5 times a week throughout the year.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
All right, Mark Kavanaugh has a couple questions. First, can you tell me what the lodge is proposed to be used for? So I'm trying to understand the risk. Is it going to be used for weddings? Is it going to be used for what type of events are the lodge being used for? Is it only for staff to eat, or please help me understand that?
Yes, sir. It's a dining facility for campers and staff at a boys' summer camp. And so it's used for 3 meals a day for those campers and staff, as well as meeting for group teachings and singing.
Okay, so there's no proposed use for weddings or parties of any type.
No, sir.
And then can you explain the cooking operation? So what type of cooking appliances are they proposing to have?
Yeah, we have a full commercial kitchen with dishwashing equipment, a range, 2 convection ovens, a large pizza oven, all of which have the appropriate venting cancel system as required.
Okay, so you have a class 1 hood and suppression system tied to all the cooking appliances.
I'm not familiar with those classes, but Aaron or Ken may be able to answer you on that. I do think so, sir. I'm not familiar with those classes.
And then I saw you had a 2-hour fire separation between the dining area and the kitchen. And you're proposing to have shutters in that 2-hour fire separation. How are those shutters being proposed to be activated?
Can I defer to one of the other?
Absolutely. Yep.
Aaron, do you think you could give us an answer on that?
Yeah, for
Yes.
clarity, I just want to see if it's going to be smoke detectors or heat detectors.
Typically, my name is Aaron Thompson with Domaker and Associates. I'm the project architect. We are located in Akron, Ohio, zip code 44321. I'm the project architect for this project. Typically, those openings are protected. The dining hall is one fire area. The commercial kitchen that's associated and supports the dining hall is a separate fire area. We do have a 2-hour fire assembly between those 2 fire areas with the opening protectives at the pass-through openings and any doors that connect the two. We would provide overhead coiling fire shutters to protect all the openings that would be activated via fusible link.
Thank you. I believe I also saw there was a fireplace in this facility. Is that correct?
Yes.
And how much water does the well have?
Ken, do you know offhand what the well provides in terms of water per minute?
Sure, Ken Hoffman, facility manager for Deerfoot Lodge. The well is rated for 43 gallons a minute. It pumps at 24 gallons a minute. We have a on-site small storage tank that operates at 1,500 gallons a day. That's what supplies all of camp for all the drinking water for the whole facility. So 24 gallons a minute is the operating on the well.
Okay, and then do we know what the capacity of the well is?
They pump tested it at 43 gallons a minute 30 years ago.
Right, but I'm trying to total volume. I'm trying to understand why we can't get a sprinkler system there. So there's limitation, I'm assuming, on the quantity of water.
Sure. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. This is Andy Ellis from the board. I do have one question about the design. I noticed that the dining area has direct access to the restrooms for the dining staff, but the dining hall itself, where the majority looks like more than double occupancy, how is it proposed that the occupants of that area are going to access the restrooms? Are they looking at going through the kitchen, or is it the staff dining room that they're going to be going in and out of? It just seems to me a little bit awkward that there's a possibility that the residents that are in that dining hall are going to be going through the kitchen every time.
Yeah, the plan is for the dining hall occupants to use a restroom facility in an adjacent building. So
Okay,
a building not pictured here has bathroom facilities to serve the actual diners.
so the occupants are going to rarely be going through the kitchen area to go.
Rarely, if ever.
Okay.
This is Laura on the board. I have a question similar to Mark. In addition to dining, is this space ever used for something where the tables might be pushed to the side or removed for something like, I don't know, some other kind of activity that might involve, say, like something when parents are all on site, so you not only have your 100 campers, but you have their parents too, or something where you might have a more concentrated use. Is there ever a place, like if there's a movie night or, or something where there's more people around than just the campers and the staff?
We would occasionally move tables, but not for a more concentrated use. For some off-season activities, we may have fewer people dining in there than the entire room requires. And so sometimes we'll close down one side of the room, create more space for people to sit by the fire, and then just have dining at the other end of the room.
Okay.
But we would not have tables moved to accommodate more chairs to have a larger volume.
Another question I have is on the plans, there's a note that says the fire shutter opening protected at the double acting door, but there's also a door in the 2-hour wall between the kitchen and the staff dining room. So would that also be a protected door?
Yes, it is. I'll ask for Aaron to confirm. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is Andy from the board. One of the digital prints that we received in your application show 3 tables on the covered porch, which would be basically on the north side. And the print that we have physically doesn't show any tables, and it shows more tables and one more table inside. My question is, those tables that could potentially block some of the egress, is that something that's part of the design to have more tables outside on this covered porch area? Or is that,
The intention of the design is to have that flexibility to include those tables, but certainly not to block egress.
Craig, also in terms of the quantity of occupants, your camper limit is always set, whether they occupy the tables outside on a nice day or the dining room tables on the inside. There's never that ceiling is always fixed. It's camper numbers for a given season and the staff that support that. Is
Correct. Yeah, it's not an increase in capacity. It's just the use of the space.
this is Andy from the board, so you anticipate approximately a max number of 182 campers or family members and campers at one time in the dining hall, or is this a revolving, like, they sit down, eat, and then more people come in?
It's a single seating, and the max that we would anticipate, we have an actual occupant load of 235 with
That would be a family.
staff at the entrance.
Okay.
This is Jackie from the board. So in the photos you provided, the existing dining hall, the interior finishes are clearly all wood-based and may or may not have any type of intumescent coating on them. What is the interior finish plan should this variance be approved?
Yeah, it's meant to be a log building with a wood floor. But Aaron, is there anything you want to add on the interior finishings in terms of fire safety?
Yeah, as Craig mentioned, the current camp is a stacked log aesthetic. We would expect to maintain that just for the camper experience. If there is a need for additional coatings, we could entertain that. But we're trying to give an experience that is a primitive camp type of experience. So the desire would be for a wood aesthetic, but obviously we would entertain any directions that the board chooses to guide us towards.
So if you were to rebuild it, the wall assemblies would be full-size log. They wouldn't be just log veneer on the inside of a standard wall assembly detail,
Yeah, we do anticipate using real log.
real log, and real wood tables. The furnishings are also all wood and poly finishes on them.
The tables are wood legs with Formica type countertop material.
Okay. And then the new building plan, if it was to be demolished, that's showing the deck as part of the means of egress off one side of the dining room, and that would also be a log type of design.
Log
That deck.
railings over probably pressure treated or cedar decking.
Okay. This is Laura on the board. If you're looking for a log aesthetic on the dining room side, how do you propose to achieve your 2-hour rating between the dining room and the kitchen?
The kitchen construction is a CMU, 8-inch CMU block construction that forms the kind of the shell of the kitchen structure, and we would obviously rate that CMU with opening protectives appropriately designed, whether that's a fire shutter at a tray opening or a rated door and frame assembly at the staff dining site. And that would be clad in a siding that would be in keeping with the rustic camp aesthetic.
And is the design of, so the kitchen is CMU all the way around. So I'm assuming that has, frost walls that support it. Is the dining room side, is that just on piers or is that also on a crawl space foundation type thing?
That's intended to be on piers.
On piers, okay. And same for the staff dining area? Same construction piers?
Yes.
Okay. So sort of the staff and main dining hall connected by the porch are all basically wood construction on piers, and then the kitchen is just sort of a CMU block on its own. Okay.
Yep, slab on grade.
I didn't look that carefully at the elevation. So does your 2-hour firewall go up through the roof, separating the two spaces?
Yeah, our typical detail, we've actually constructed a similar structure in North Carolina, and it was 8-inch CMU to truss bearing height, and then we had studs and drywall to underside of sheathing at those separation faces between fire areas.
Okay.
This is Jackie again. For your dining operation, is there typically like a buffet style setup with sternos keeping the food warm, or the campers just serve the plate from the kitchen and they sit down at their tables and eat directly after being served?
Yeah, I can answer that. This is Craig Borno. There's no service line. The food is actually served family style. So serving bowls placed on each of the tables before the campers arrive, and then they share at that table.
Okay. And the staff dining also? Is that how they? So these little countertop elevations in both dining rooms, those are just a hand wash sink and a counter, no microwaves, no.
There would be a coffee station on the area shaded with the circular tables.
For the staff?
Yes, but no other service.
And then for fire extinguishers, are you proposing to have one per dining area? And then obviously whatever's required by code in the kitchen? Is your staff trained properly in the event of an emergency on how to use and evacuate from the building? What would be your operational?
Yeah, again, this is Craig Borno, and we would have fire extinguishers in every section, one at a minimum, and our staff do get intensive training on dealing with fire emergencies and all types. We run a 3-week staff training before opening our camp each year, during which they get emergency training in them.
And you have staff overseeing the campers during the duration of their mealtime in that room before they go into the other room?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, the staff dining area is not because the supervisory staff are leaving the campers. That's an area for our maintenance and kitchen staff to eat. The supervisors, the camp counselors stay with the campers for their entire meal.
So they dine with them?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Laura on the board. Just to clarify, so the digital prints that we have just shows, the one that shows the tables on the porch. It also shows, fewer exits. And then the print hard copies that we have show, 8 exits potentially in the dining room. No picnic tables on the porch. So is this just like sort of an alternative that you're offering, or is this like a sort of a newer version? Is a digital one an older version that you're sort of abandoning, or just sort of?
The
help us figure
version
out?
with multiple exits is intended to show an alternative to using a sprinkler system. It's a way of increasing the fire safety of the space. And so that's the most recent.
Okay. I see there's nothing on here showing exit signs or emergency lighting. I assume that would all be to code. So no matter how many exits we, are necessary, each one would have an exit sign.
Yes.
This is Jeff Hinderleiter. At one point, you stated 235 max. Is that the maximum occupancy of the site? How many people can be bedded and on the site at any given time? What's your maximum for lodging, staff, everything?
Yes, 235 would represent that whole.
Okay.
This is Mark from the board again. Can someone explain the fire alarm system and how that works? I mean, I get it when the generator's running, that's going to power the fire alarm system, but what happens when you go off season?
Yeah, the fire alarms are battery powered at Deerfoot, and so they're in operation whether the generator is on or not.
So is it monitored and does it go somewhere? Or is it
No,
just ring
sir.
local?
Yeah, it's a audible alarm.
Local only?
Yeah.
And when you say battery operated, they're interconnected, I'm assuming?
They would be in this building, in the proposed building.
Right.
Ken, you
Yeah,
would have to
that's-
answer whether they are currently, but in the proposed building, I'm sure they would be networked together.
Okay, thank you.
This is Jeff. In your letter dated August 8th, it stated that without the generators, dining hall would not be afforded electrical power to run such items as alarms, fire bumps, basic heating, and devices to support a fire protection system. So to clarify, you aren't saying, because that implies that there won't be fire alarms then. So there are fire alarms, proposed fire alarms, even if they're battery operated and connected, but you're not proposing to say no fire alarms.
No, sir, but just to clarify, to make sure I'm not misunderstanding and answering your question the wrong way, I'm describing like smoke detector type fire alarms that will make a noise audibly in the area, whether or not power is active.
Yeah, this is probably directed more towards Aaron. That statement you're referring to like a formalized panel system that with direct power, all the appurtenances that go with that. Is that what you mean by to power to run such items as alarms and other equipment?
This is Aaron. Yes, it's really just meant to highlight the reality of not having even if the building goes in the alarm, there's nothing to respond to it. There's no fire pump that's going to kick in to push the water into the piping to address the fire event. It's we're as Craig alluded to, it's a remote site, primitive conditions. They're just in those off seasons specifically, which is the majority of the year. There's just not reliable power to power alarm systems and smoke, smoke and fire emergency systems.
So the current fire protective devices then are they like listed battery operated, something you would get at a box store, I would call them what we sometimes see as like residential type units. Is that what's being in this facility and being proposed in this facility?
I can
That's what's
answer.
current, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can answer regarding our current facility, which is to say there are smoke detectors of the kind you're describing in the current facility, supported by an ANSEL system in the kitchen itself.
So this is Mark on the board, just to continue to follow up on this. With the Ansel system, that has to have a fire alarm panel in order to activate the Ansel system. So where is that getting its power from?
It would be
That's
via
right.
the generator when it is actually in operation.
Okay. So then once we go off season, I guess the argument is there's no cooking operations, therefore there's no need for a suppression system.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Follow up is the cooking fuel is propane or electric? What is used to actually do the cooking?
Yeah, propane.
Propane.
Yes.
When you explain this is probably for buildings and grounds, Mr. Hoffman. Explain your winterization. Then obviously you probably winterize for water, but do you do anything for winterization regarding the cooking appliances and the propane appliances?
Sure, Ken Hoffman, Buildings and Grounds, Deerfoot Lodge. When you are speaking as far as winterizing them, we do cover all the appliances that need to be covered. Obviously, propane is turned off for the season, and then equipment is inspected prior to the startup for the next season.
Okay, so any pilots are extinguished, gas is shut off. Do you shut it off at the fixture? Do you shut it off at the tank?
There's a regulator that's mounted at the outside exterior of the building with a shut-off valve. That's where it's shut off.
Okay. So the line from the tank to the building is still charged, but the actual building's isolated.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Andy from the board. Kind of a design question. I see 6 exits onto the porch area from the staff dining to the dining hall. And I see 2 sets of stairs off the porch. In my view, I guess I could see the outswing doors and the tables potentially blocking egress. Would you be open to stairs or maybe a wider set of stairs? As occupants are leaving, the only, if everyone's going to one side of the building and there's tables out there, which obviously must have a beautiful view because it's on the downside of the lower side of the building. I just see a potential issue in flow of people coming out of the doors.
Sure. To answer your question, we would be open to a wider set of stairs or an additional stairway.
More, the one in the center is a direct access, so it would be, would you guys be open to 2 other sets of stairs in front of the 2 other doors so they have direct access down without changing the aesthetics of the lodge? Just asking.
Yeah, I think that could be achieved.
But that, I guess my primary concern is at one end, we have a double wood burning fireplace with 2 doors next to it. And if there was an issue there, the only other doors would be to the south side, which have no blockage whatsoever going to earth.
Yeah, we would be open to additional stairways on
Okay.
the south side.
Or north.
Excuse me. Yeah,
North side.
Where the porch is.
I like the idea that you've added more as a compromise. I just think that I don't want to take away from the experience of the campers being on the porch. But yet I don't want to block other campers that are inside that might need to get out.
Yeah, there's enough space there that I think we could accomplish what you're describing and still have some space to enjoy the porch. Yeah.
Aaron Thompson with Domaker. Craig, that would just be places to hang out. So I'm sure it could be appropriate.
Yeah, I could see it as a place where people want to hang out, especially if it's inclement weather, raining. And there's a large number of occupants on the porch and inside. That's a potential issue that I see.
This is Laura on the board. I think, thinking through the whole exit pattern, given that the porch is wood and not an enclosed exit, honestly, the travel distance should really be figured on to the point where you get down the stairs and get to grade, you know what I mean? So the fact that we've got all these doors onto the porch, but only one stair, it makes a lot of sense that, we essentially have, this volume of people coming out and then it all narrows down to one stair. So I think we really do need to consider the stairs as part of the means of egress all the way down to the ground. So I think I'm on board with, I think, adding additional stairs would go a long way to, making that a complete exit.
This is Aaron Thompson. We can certainly consider the bottom of the stair as part of that travel distance, and I believe we can demonstrate compliance, so should not be a problem.
Yeah, certainly with the number of exits you're proposing, I think you've got your travel distance covered and then some, you're, as long as we're counting it to the bottom of the stairs where you can step off of a wood structure that could burn. So that's good to know.
Any other questions from the board?
I think so.
No, so just the nature of the variance, then you're asking for that code provision to be revised from the number 100 to the number 300. That's formally what you're asking for.
Yes, sir.
So you're not asking for a variance from a sprinkler system. You're asking for us to change an occupant number.
Right.
Yes, sir. The effect would be that a sprinkler system would not be required in our building because the building would meet items 1 and 3 on the list in F903.2.1.2 Group A-2.
Okay, so I guess there are implications when we adjust things, and we're going to make it an A2 with 300. There will be other code provisions classifying it as an A2 that you'll have that I want to be careful when we adjust numbers that, if what you're really looking for is to not have a sprinkler system, that seems to be, that's what the variance is for. And I'm just kind of looking at the number. It seems really simple to look at A1 and A3 and say, well, just swap this number. But I want to make sure that if we grant that 300 there, what are the ripple effects, if there are any?
Understood. In effect, we are asking to not be required to have a sprinkler system. And our understanding of the code has been that if we could increase that number from 100 to 300, it wouldn't be required. But to answer your question, the effect that we're pursuing with this variance is to not be required to have a sprinkler system.
Okay. That's all.
Any other questions from the board? At this time, the board would like to break for deliberation. We'd like to go off the record.
Andy,
Yes.
you got the code enforcement official there, if he wants to say anything.
My apologies. I'd like to go back on the record. Okay. We have our,
This is Rick Rumsey, and I'm a code enforcement officer in the Village of Speculator. I'd just like to say, this has been a real education for me. I really appreciate all that you do. Be assured that I will do all the inspections and the yearly inspections of fire extinguishers and so on, but I thank you for at least hearing this case.
This is Jeff. Mr. Rumsey, just so the record's clear, are you in support of this variance or are you opposed?
I'm in support of it. I've been around the camp enough. I've watched them build other buildings. I've inspected many buildings there, but I'm definitely in support of it, yes.
thank you, Jeff. At this time, we'd like to go into deliberation. There's no more questions or comments. Like to off the record. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Welcome back. We're in the meeting room. Okay. Thanks, everyone, for your patience. Upon the application of Deerfoot Lodge Camps, PPC, 6 Squirrel Court, Trail Court, Hendersonville, North Carolina, 28791. And upon taking testimony and hearing our argument thereon at a duly noted hearing before the Capital Region Albany Board of Review, this hearing was held via video conference WebEx at the following location: 1 Commerce Plaza, 99 Washington Avenue, Conference Room 505, Albany, New York, on September 17th, 2025. And upon all other papers in this matter, the board makes the following determination. Finding of facts: number 1, the petitioner proposes to rebuild the existing dining hall of the Deerfoot Lodge Adirondack Camps. Number 2, the petitioner infers that the presumed actual occupant load of 235 people per condition number 2 of section F 903.2.1.2 group A2 of the 2020 Building Code of New York State, an automatic sprinkler system shall be provided throughout the building. Number 3, the dining hall will be separated by a 2-hour fire barrier from the other occupancy groups and or use of this building meeting the limitation of 5,000 square feet specifies in condition number 1 of section F 903.2.1.2 group A2 of the 2020 Building Code of New York State. Number 4, the public electricity is not available to this building. The building is powered by 2 diesel generators. Number 5, municipal water is not available on this building site. This building is served by a private water well. The existing well is not sized for the volume of water needed to provide adequate fire protection coverage for the dining hall. Number 6, the local code enforcement official has been consulted in this matter and does not object to the granting of the routine variance under provisions 19 NYCRR 1205. Number 7, all conditions imposed by the board were suggested to and accepted by representation on behalf of the applicant prior to rendering this decision. Number 8, the intentions of the conditions imposed are to protect the occupants of the building and provide a suitable means of egress from the structure when the camp is in session. Conclusion of law. In view of the above findings and upon taking testimony and hearing the argument thereon at a duly noted hearing before the Capital Region Albany Board of Review, the board found that the proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provision for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance with the code would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which achieve the intended objective of the code. It is determined, wherefore it is determined that the application for the variance for 19 NYCRR Part 1221, condition number take that out. Section F 903.2.1.2, Group A2, condition number 2, be granted with the following conditions. Number 1, the occupancy load will be limited to 250 people. Number 2, stairs will be added to the deck directly in line with each of the exits to the north side of the main dining hall. This may be achieved with 3 separate stairways or 1 continuous stairways or a combination thereof. Number 3, the floor assembly of fire area 1, as indicated on the plan, included in this application, and the porch assembly shall have a 1-hour fire rating. Number 4, there shall be 3 staff members present at all times in the building is occupied that are trained as crowd managers, suggesting to use training provided by New York State OFPC. Number 5, an NFPA compliant local fire alarm system shall be installed throughout the building, and at least 1 smoke detector shall be included in fire area 2. Number 6, if a fire detection device is activated in fire area 2, then any opening protectives that are normally in an open position shall automatically close. Number 7, an exit designation shall be added to the double doors provided in the dining room staff. Number 8, the doors on both sides of the fireplace in the camper dining hall shall not be designated as exits. Number 9, the use of the dining room is limited to campers and staff pursuant to the camp operation. Rentals to the public are not permitted. I have a motion from the board.
Mr. Chairman, this is Albany from Department of State. I have one question regarding the finding that the code official does not object. Actually, the code official supports the variance. He stated on the record that he supports the variance, right? So that's the finding, the last finding, the code official does not object.
He doesn't object.
Variance.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually supports this variance on the record.
Number 6, I'll revise that. The local code enforcement official has been consulted in the matter and supports the granting of a routine variance on the provisions of 19 NYCRR 1205.
Yeah, it's-
Okay. All right. I have a motion.
And is there any word routine, something you read? Can you read that findings again?
You want me to read?
Yeah, can you read that?
Yep. Number 6 again, the local code enforcement official has been consulted in this matter and supports the granting of a variance under the provision of 19 ICRR 1205.
Before we go to making a motion, I think we need to clarify that we are looking at this set of plans that we are expecting 6 exits. Nowhere does it say here that we are wanting the 6 exits from the main dining hall. Yeah, we said we get the 3. We're giving them, right, the 3, we talked about the 3 on the north side just because of the stairs, but we're without referencing a drawing number or anything, like, we should just, I think we should just state
Yeah.
there are 6
Ex-
exits.
In the exhibit, whether by finding
great.
or, yeah, yep.
Yeah, could be a finding or.
Uh, Condition, add a condition number 10.
Yes.
That there'll be
6 exits.
emergency exits out of the camper dining hall.
I don't know if you can say emergency, but just
No,
exits, 6 exits
Designated.
as shown. I don't know if there's a date on this plan, or, you know, if you want to refer. to it
Whatever the
somewhere.
exhibit is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, attachment 1.
As per plans.
I don't know.
Attachment 1 drawings, it
Attachment
says
1.
at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, so the condition number 10, that there will be 6 designated exits in the camper dining hall as per plans attached in drawing number 1. Attachment number
Attachment
1
1.
drawings.
G102. Add sheet G.
Sheet, yeah. That there'll be 6 exits in the camper dining hall as per plans in attachment number 1, G102 drawing.
Yeah, I think that's about all the, all the identifying information on the plan.
Good.
Point of order, Mr. Chair, is just when do you guys read the CEQA? That part of the motion, or does that come after?
There isn't one in this one.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. I have a motion from the board.
I'll make a motion. All right.
May I have a second?
I'll second it. Jackie?
And for the record, I'll poll each of the board members. Laura Ryder,
Aye.
Jackie Coombs,
Aye.
Mark Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Jeffrey Hindeleiter,
Aye.
and Andy Ellis, Chairman, aye. I'll let the record show the votes, 5 ayes, 0 nays. This decision is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. This concludes the matter before us. This case is now closed. Chairman Andy Ellis, members Laura Ryder, Jack Coons, Mark Kavanaugh, and Jeffrey Hindeleiter all concur. So ordered.
Thank you for considering our.
Good luck with the building.
Waiting up the
I
date.
see that's for
Off
next
the
summer.
record.
You're hoping for
Well,
summer after.
yeah, it's probably gonna be 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No bullet on the. Some of the others.
You ready? Back on the record? Okay. We'll now hear our second hearing, petition number 2025-0427. This hearing is in the matter of Monica Luda. We have spelled that correctly. The nature of the grievance and relief sought, this petition pertains to an existing building containing 3 apartments of a R2 occupancy, 2 stories with a finished basement, 3 stories in height, of type 5B wood framed, unprotected construction located at 26 Otsego Street, City of Oneida, County of Otsego, State of New York. Relief is requested from Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws in New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 26, egress from dwellings. In every such dwelling, 3 stories or more in height, there shall be on each story at least 2 independent means of egress except for each apartment or suite. Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Can you mute yourself real quick? Thank you. The first means shall be open to a public hall connected with stairs affording a safe access to a street or to a yard, court, or passageway affording continuous, safe, and unobstructed access to a street. The second means shall be a direct to a fire escape or to an enclosed stair without passing through the first means, except that where the first mean includes an interior stair which is closed off at each floor level by fire retarded construction with a fireproof self-closing door within. Their second means may be another such interior stair or a fire escape directly accessible on the same story from a public hall there within, or not such public hall is also a part of the first means provided such fire escape is not a wire, chain, cable, vertical ladder, or rope fire escape. In lieu of a second means of egress, a sprinkler system may be installed in public halls and stairs. The petitioner released requests from the following: egress off the balcony, the exterior steel ladder to the grade. Also, Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 27, fire escapes, wire, chain, cable, combustible, vertical ladder, or rope fire escapes shall not be accepted as required or alternative means of egress, and unless such fire escapes are supplemental to the means of egress required by Section 26, they shall be removed and replaced by a system of fire escape structure and arranged as provided in Section 133. All fire escapes erected on or after July 1st, 1953, to serve as a second means of egress shall be in conformity with the provisions of Section 133. It shall be unlawful to remove any fire escape without permission from the department. Such system shall be installed, arranged, and maintained in a manner satisfactory to the department in accordance with the rules adopted by the commission. The petitioner requests relief to allow the egress off the balcony down the exterior steel ladder to grade. At this time, I'd like to open up to the petitioner. Please state your name and legal address so the court reporter.
Yes, I'm
And have
Joseph
that-
Valetti. I'm Joseph Valetti for my wife. On behalf of my wife, Monica Pluto. The address is 26 Otsego Street. It is Oneonta, New York. You said Oneida. I don't
Oh,
know if that's.
sorry. Yeah,
Okay, just want to make sure we're on the same page.
no problem. Sorry about that.
Yep, just wanted to make sure. And I can give you a quick once over of what we know. We bought the building back in 2019. Previous owner owned it for decades. As far as the tax roll happened, it was always a three-family. It runs on the corner of Otsego Street and Fair Street. If you're on Otsego Street, it's
You are
two
breaking up
stories
in your
grade
phone call.
with the low. I'm gonna go off video then. Hold on 1 second. Is that better?
For
We
now.
can hear you for now, yes.
Keep trying. You're-
Okay. So we purchased the building back in 2019. The person we purchased the building from had owned it for, I believe, almost 20 years. It was running as a three-family. I and my wife do own quite a few other properties in Otsego County and have for the last 20 years. We purchased the building. It was a three-family. It was a three-family on the tax records. I had to have to do some renovations to it, so I really wasn't that worried as far as what violations. I was going to have code come in after purchase. It was running as a three-family. The way Otsego Street, which it runs into Fair Street, it runs on it a little bit of an angle. So if you're on Otsego Street staring at the house, there are 2 floors above grade. So there's a walk-in, 1 flight upstairs to the upstairs. So that is on 2 sides of the building. On the back side and the Fair Street side, it is a walkout, and it would be, I guess, 3 stories on that side. At this point, we're not using the lower level because code came to me and said, hey, do you realize that that is not in compliance? I said, no. He said, well, it's a 3-family. It can't be a 3-family. I said, no clue. So it actually pulled out a piece of paper, which I haven't been able to find. I asked for it again, didn't come back, stating that it was out of compliance since 55, as in 1955. And my response to that was, how did this go on so long? And I was told that they were cleaning up lots of things. It was a change in the lead code person. So I did what I needed to do, which was to be in compliance. I had the tenant on the lowest level, moved them out into another apartment, and now we've had that for probably close to 5 years just sitting. Building is losing money. The sprinkler will be so cross prohibitive, as well as there is no space. There is a lower level apartment and a crawl space, so there is not space to put it. There is also, at the moment, the 2 floors where people live are still the first and second, not counting the lower. So the fire safety is identical today with the lower in that situation. If a fire was created, I would like to be able to use it again, which would be super helpful as far as the building in itself, because we purchased it, obviously not your problem, with the value of a 3-family. We've lost money year after year after year, and the building definitely needs work. So I'd like to get it to be active again, and looking for what you guys think would make sense to make that happen.
Okay, thank you.
That's pretty much it.
Thank you. I'd like to open it up to board members for questions.
This is Laura on the board. I just want to get sort of a lay of the land, if you will, of the apartment layout. So the basement apartment, I see the photo you sent, it shows the 1 door, which I assume is that on the side of the house?
So that is going to be on Fair Street, where it goes down the street on an angle so that you have that lower level. Yes.
Okay. And so It sounded like something you said earlier, the basement apartment does not go through the entire bottom level, it's just a part of it and then it becomes a crawl space?
Correct.
So how large is that basement apartment?
Small, it's about 500 square feet.
Is it a studio or is it a one bedroom?
It's a studio. It's 2 rooms and a bathroom. So it's not a traditional 1 bedroom. It's not a studio.
Mhm. Okay,
So it's a kitchenette. It would be a kitchenette, living area, small bedroom, small bathroom.
okay. And there's only this one door to it?
Correct.
Okay. Does the bedroom have a legal egress window in it, do you know?
Yes. Yes. If it does
Is this
not,
large
I
enough?
will deal with that at code and I will make it larger. I will confirm that. I
Okay,
believe
yeah,
the answer is yes.
okay. And so on the first floor, again, you sent a photo that shows a driveway and then the porch to the
Yes.
left. Is that the front of the building, sort of?
So there should be pictures. I'm actually driving. I wasn't able to stay by my computer. There should be pictures showing the other side of the house, which is going to be Otsego Street, which has a porch, which is the first floor right in.
Okay.
And to the right of that, about 15 feet back, is another door, which is a 1 flight up stairwell to the second floor.
Okay. So does the first floor apartment have a second exit door?
It can go out back to the there's a little porch out back, half enclosed.
Okay, so
Porch out back.
that's, so is the porch is the photo that shows the porch with the second floor fire escape stair, is that the back or the front?
That is going to be the front.
That's the front. Okay, so that's the front entrance door to the first floor apartment too.
I believe so. Not looking at it. So there's the back side of the building, which is going to have the 2. Yeah, that's the front side. Yes, that is the front side. Yeah.
I don't think we have a photo of the back of the building. No. So that's what I'm trying to get at. So what is the second exit for the first floor apartment? That's the side.
Right through the back side of the building, you walk out to a porch out back, which is half enclosed, which goes up
Okay.
between both floors.
Okay, I see it
Yeah,
on
the
another
second
photo.
floor
Okay.
has that as well.
Okay, and there's a stair down from that?
From the first floor?
Up to that
From the
enclosed
fir-
porch in the back?
I believe it's fully enclosed. I do not believe there's a
With no-
stair off it.
Okay, so then in fact, it's not really an exit, is what you're telling me. There's, like, no one can get to the ground from that back exit. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
That could be modified.
Okay. And then on the second floor, you're saying that there's a door off the driveway, that's a stair up. And then the second means of egress from the second floor apartment is through that porch with the metal stair down.
Yes.
Okay, I got the lay of the land now. Okay, thank you.
I apologize. I wish I was able to give this to you better. I've actually been before you guys a few years ago, and I was way better created. It's been a little hectic the last few months. I'm not in the area. I wish I could be there in person. So it's been a little hectic. So
Actually,
I
one
apologize.
last question. Sorry, this is Laura on
Sure.
the board again. One last question about the second floor apartment. Does the porch and fire escape stair exit, is that, what room in the apartment does that serve? Is that like a living room, a bedroom, kitchen? Where does it?
Off a living. It's off a living room.
Okay. And then the stair that goes up by the driveway also comes into what type of room?
That's off the bedroom, I believe.
Okay. And is it a 1, 2, 3 bedroom? How many bedrooms on the second floor?
They're large 1 bedrooms. That's how they've been. I have had the same tenants for years. Since I got it, I haven't changed any tenants. There's been no turnover, so they're 1 bedroom apartments. There is a second small room, which is probably not big enough to be called a second bedroom. I don't believe it makes probably under 80 square feet without a closet. So.
Right. Okay. Okay, thank you.
This is Andy from the board. So the only, utilities for these units are in the basement level, adjacent to the lowest level unit?
Yes, there's a small area off of the studio on the first floor.
Is that what that second door is?
Yes,
There's two doors on the side of the building where there's a picture. There's two doors with a covered roof.
yes.
One goes into the utility and one goes into the unit.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, this is Laura on the board again. What is the current status with your smoke alarm system in the building?
So they're just battery operated. So I'd be willing to upgrade that as well.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
They're battery operated. Any better? Any better?
Yep.
Okay.
So
And so they're not,
they're not hardwired. They're battery operated.
and are they interconnected in any way?
They are not, but that would be something I would definitely consider.
Can you tell us approximately what the headroom height is in the basement apartment?
8 feet. I would say between 8 and 9 feet.
Something like that. The photos, but
Zillow ones are better.
okay.
It
I mean,
looks
I've been
really,
in it, and I'm almost 6 foot, and I'm not feeling like it's tight. So it's probably 8 feet.
Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
I was concerned about that with those pictures, but the Zillow is way more proportional.
Great. Okay. All right.
So I think when they built it down, and so does have some space.
Since you've owned the building, have you ever had the metal stair inspected?
I have
Metal
not.
ladder?
I have not at this moment. Like I said, we've just kind of been in a limbo state, and I put this off for a long time. I spoke to an engineer about possibly putting in a staircase between the first floor and the lower levels so that we can gain access to it and use it, and then a two-family situation. And then I came up with the remembrance because I did this a few years ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago, actually now. And then I said, you know what, why don't I just come to the state and see? I think it makes what's the most sense for the building, because if I turn it into a two-family with a stairs to the basement, you're still going to have the same situation as far as fire safety. So to me, it would make sense to them to guys keep it a 3-family, find a solution to what's going to be fire safety increased, reasonable cost, benefits the building, benefits me, benefits fire safety, which benefits you.
This is Andy from the board. In one of the pictures, it looks like they're on the front of the house where the ladder is. One picture shows a table outside of what possibly would look like a door over the top of the porch. And
Yep.
then in another picture, it looks like there's potentially railings up there.
There are railings up there. We have to have the railings. Code required us to have the railings up there.
Okay.
As
That was
part of
one
the
of their
means of egress?
issues. Yes, that was one of their issues, yes.
So that's got railings around it.
This is Jeff Hinderleiter. Who made the determination that this is 3-story? I see that in the finding that on your application, you stated it's 2-story. Obviously we're hearing it, so it appears that it's being called a 3-story. We don't have enough information to verify how many stories this actually is. But is it 2-story or is it 3-story?
You're on Otsego Street, you're staring at a 2-story building. If you walk to Fair Street, there's another level of access. And I think that's where even my
It's close.
assumption
It's
was.
really
I
close.
thought it was fine, but if you're on Otsego Street, every other building built the same way is a two-story building. There are houses right next to them, same height, everything is the same height on Otsego Street. But when you go to Fair Street, because of the angle, and I don't even know if I ever actually got something from City Code, if it was more of a verbal conversation, which I think you came to me, like I said, it was in the code. I have a really good relationship with them, so always have. He made the statement, I'm the 10 back. I did nothing since at this point. Use it. That's why I'm here.
You are breaking up. We
I'm
did not
so-
hear much.
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Hindelayer, this is Tom DiTullio from Department of State. I had a conversation with the local code official, and he just stated verbally that, in his opinion, it's a 3-story building because of the walkout basement. With no other evidence to refute that, that's how this variance decision was drafted, stating that the code official states that a 3-story, so it's a 3-story.
Thank you, Tom.
If this was a, and this is a question for Tom, if this was a 2-story structure, would this variance even be necessary?
The variance wouldn't be necessary because part of Article 2 for multiple occupancies for residentials, if it's 2 stories or less, there's only one exit required from each level, plus an emergency exit off each window. So they'd have to have the egress window in each living space, they call it. So it would be a bedroom, living room, anything of that sort. That's the way the 1952 multiple residency law states. Wouldn't be needed.
So without either an architectural drawing or pictures of the backside to determine how much of the basement is actually exposed out of the ground, it's hard to verify the 2 versus 3-story, I guess.
It is the full height of the apartment on the back side of the building.
Okay. Great. This is Laura on the board. So when you get to the end of the driveway and then there's that little bump out in the house where the stair goes up to the center, is there
Yes.
like a retaining wall at that back corner, or does it just slope back down? What does the grade do there?
It just slopes. There's no retaining wall. It just all slopes.
Okay, so similar to the side street side, or?
Yes, similar to the side street side. So the apartment, the lower apartment is pretty much open on the backside, and then the rest of the building is kind of in a hill.
Right, okay. Is there like a window in the rear, in the basement apartment that is on the side of the driveway? Or do they only have windows on the back and the side where the door is?
I believe it's the side where the door is. There is one on the side, but I don't know if it's egress size. Not an issue.
At this
to
point,
not
I'm
an
not
issue to
worried
change it.
about egress. We're just trying to establish, like, the code is a very particular definition of what makes a story. And it has to do with like how far the building is or isn't out of the ground for how much of the building's perimeter. So we're trying to establish sort of like, you know,
I
how
would
much
say
of the,
I would say half of the back of the building is open to the grade of the floor of the apartment, and then the other half of the building, which is going to be the crawl space, is not.
right. Okay. So again, it's yeah, without like a survey with grade information, it's really hard to say exactly. So I don't know if we would then, I guess, without that information, we could just proceed on calling it a 3-story, and going with finding a solution for you.
I am okay with that. City code has called it that. That's why I'm here. So.
Okay.
Ms. Ryder, this is, excuse me, this is Tom DiTullio, Ms. Ryder. I looked up the definition in 1952 of what a grade or basement apartment is, and it was very unclear, and that's what we have to go by.
Gotcha. Not the modern
definition.
definition.
But It doesn't go like the same residential part that we would use in 2000.
Okay.
So that's
it.
where I agree with the code official. If he made that determination, it's vague enough that he can make that determination. Unless
Okay.
there's
Fine.
hard proof.
I think I can work with that.
But it's iffy.
Right.
Let me put it that way. It's gray.
Okay.
This is Andy from the board. I have a question about the porches that are shown in one of your pictures on the back side of the house.
Yes.
The lowest. They are the first and second story connected, or is that just siding I'm seeing? There's
Just
a door.
siding. Not connected.
Okay. None of those are connected, okay.
No.
No stair.
Okay.
So Jeff Hinderleiter from the board. So what is being called a balcony here is actually the porch roof to the first story, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you install the wood railings that are present?
I would have to say I believe so. I have a maintenance team. I believe it was a code issue, and I believe we did. This is within the last many years. I can't say 100%, but I'm fairly confident.
Okay. And the code officer inspected and accepted the construction of those connections and everything for them to
Yes.
be guardrails?
We recently had code in the building. I don't believe I have any open violations outside of what I'm here to discuss.
And in the picture provided, I see that there's a grill on the roof. So
That might be true.
yeah, so the tenants are using this as a balcony?
Yes.
Because I have a concern with that. Just being that it's a roof that's being utilized as a balcony. And I also, in the picture that shows that there is no fall protection over the ladder itself. There's no removable piece that would prevent somebody who's grilling and chit-chatting with their neighbor who takes a step backward too far. Is there any sort of other guard that's in place to protect that ladder opening?
Not that I know of.
And it looks like that the shrubbery, to use that term, is blocking. It's hard to tell in the picture. Is blocking part of that ladder? There's a large bush or some growth there. Does the bottom of that ladder what is it connected to?
I believe it's tied to the ground. I believe it's tied back to the building in the ground, I believe.
Okay.
And as regards to the bush, we could have it removed. Not an issue.
I think whatever we consider, if this becomes an egress path, it's got to remain clear and open so that, that's all I have at the moment.
Yep.
I don't have any more questions.
Mark, do you have any questions? Mark?
All my questions have been asked. Thank you.
Okay. All right, at this time, the board will go into deliberation. I'd like to go off the record, or there is a code official? No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Gonna go up the record.
We'd like to go off the record.
We don't have whoops, sorry. I was just gonna say, we don't have a code official questionnaire, do we?
Thank you.
I will.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion for a negative declaration for a short EAF for the Board of Review. Number one, that the Board of Review find and determine that the issuance of a variance in petition 2025-0427 will not have a significant environmental impact and will not have a significant adverse effect on any significant fish or wildlife habitat, scenic resource of statewide significant important agricultural land or area included in an approved local waterfront revitalization program. And number two, that the Department of State be authorized to sign and deliver on behalf of the Board of Review and the Department of State, that the State Environmental Quality Review Act short environmental assessment form indicating that no small impact may occur in response to each question in part 2 of the form, and determining in part 3 of the form that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impact. May I have a motion from the board?
This is Laura. I'll make a motion.
May I have a second?
Jackie, I'll second.
I'll poll our board members. Laura Ryder,
Aye.
Jackie Coons,
Aye.
Jeffrey Hindelater,
Aye.
Mark Kavanaugh,
Aye.
and I, Andy Ellis, Chair, vote aye. Let the record show that there are 5 ayes and 0 nays. We'll go into our case. Upon taking application of Monica Paluda and upon taking testimony and hearing argument thereon, a duly noted hearing before the Capital District Albany Board of Review held via video conference call WebEx at 1 Commerce Plaza, 99 Washington Avenue, room 505, Albany, New York, on September 17, 2025. And upon all other papers in this matter, the board makes the following decision. Finding of facts that the subject building is approximately 1,736 square feet in gross area, 3 stories in height. The house originally constructed around 1943 and contains 3 dwelling units, 1 apartment on the first level, 1 apartment on the second floor, 1 apartment on the 3rd floor. The building that is subject to this petition is properly classified under 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 1, Section 433, as a multiple dwelling. Number 3, the subject building is required to conform with the provisions of Article 3 of the Multiple Residence Law as provided in Section 25, and that it existed on July 1st, 1952, or was converted to a multiple dwelling after July 1st, 1952, and is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Multiple Residence Law. Number 4, the petitioner states that the 3rd floor apartment is accessed via an exterior or interior stair and an exterior escape ladder from the 2nd floor porch roof. The opposite side of where the walkout side of the 1st floor is present. The 2nd and 3rd floor porches are not accessed by the stair or ladder. The petitioner is seeking relief from Article 26 and 27 to allow the interior 2nd floor front porch roof exit with metal ladder as an acceptable 2nd means of egress. Number 6, that the local code official has been consulted in this matter and neither supports or objects to the granting of the variance under Part 1205. Number 7, that the building shall be otherwise comply with all other local and state building codes and local ordinance. Conclusion of law, that the proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the code's provision for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance with the provision of the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties, economic hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because such would create an excessive and unreasonable economic burden, would not be physically or legally impracticable, and or would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which, without the loss of level of safety, achieve the intended objective of the code. Determination, and wherefore is determined that the application for the variance of Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 26 and 27, be and is hereby be granted for the following conditions. Number 1, that all smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector, heat detector devices shall be interconnected together as one system and in conformance with NFPA 72. Number 2, confirm that the 1st floor unit has an egress window in compliance with the present code. Number 3, add stairs to grade from 2nd level unit rear porch. Number 4, 3rd floor unit, wood railings to be removed from the front porch on the front side entry porch on the Otsego Street side. Number 5, that the third floor unit door out to the balcony front porch area be replaced with an egress window in compliance with current code. Number 6, that the fire escape ladder to be clear of obstruction and trees and any other growth. Number 7, that the vertical ladder be examined for structural adequacy and safety in accordance with section 1104.16.5 of the New York State Fire Code by a registered design professional or others acceptable to the fire code official every 5 years or as required by the fire code official. I would like to ask a board member for a motion.
This is Laura. I'll make a motion.
Second,
I'll
second.
I'll poll our board members. Laura Ryder,
Aye.
Jackie Coons,
Aye.
Jeff Hindeleiter,
Aye.
Mark Kavanaugh, and I, Andy Ellis, vote aye. Let the record show the votes, 5 ayes, 0 nays. This decision is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications present in support of this application. Chairman Andy Ellis and board members Jackie Coons, Laura Ryder, Mark Kavanaugh, and Jeffrey Hindeleiter all concur. So ordered. That concludes our case.
Does the
Go off the
petitioner have
record.
any question or anything? Petitioner? He was on
I'd
the.
like to go off the record.